So be still and know that I am God. What does that mean? So I'm going to give you my interpretation of it. I'm a huge fan of stillness and silence now. Never used to be, but I am now. I believe that God speaks to us when we are still, and that spark of God, the voice of God, the energy of God is something that we all carry within ourselves. Every single person on this planet carries it within themselves, and we all have access to it. But the only way that we can actually access it is by being still and being in silence. Because when we're busy in ourselves and we're going and doing, we're in our minds. We're thinking about the next thing that we've got to do on the to-do list, the next tasks that we've got to tick off. We're thinking about work, we're thinking about the kids, we're thinking about everything. And it's not that we can't function on this planet if we don't think about the things that we've got to do in advance, right? We can't just be sitting in stillness and in silence all the time, every day. And well, we can, but I guess it wouldn't really fit in with your your daily life. That doesn't mean that we can't have practices where we incorporate some stillness and some silence into our lives. And the reason for that is, well, it comes from the scripture of be still and know that I am God. Because when you are still and when we are still and when we access that stillness within us and that highest energy within us, that really grounded, all loving, all protecting, all wise energy within us, our inner voice, our intuition, God, there's many, many names for it, then we know that we have everything inside of us that we need to face any challenge that is placed in our path head on. We know that by being still. So last summer I had a lot of challenges in my life, and they came like kind of one after the other. I do like one starting in March, and then the April, and then the May. Right, I just was having challenge after challenge after challenge. And my mother always said that luck comes in threes, and this definitely like the third thing. I was just like, okay, what the hell is happening? Why are all these things happening in my life? And I had this like really challenging period, and I woke up one morning and I took my youngest daughter to school, and I went back and I got under the duvet. I got back under the duvet, which is not something I've ever really done. I think like it was something that I've realised recently is like I know some people, I have clients, I know some people in my life that if they're having a bad day, they get under the duvet. That was never a done thing in my house growing up. Like we never lay in bed all day. That just didn't happen. There was five kids. We were all downstairs. The bedrooms were upstairs. We didn't take to our bed unless we were sick. That was it. So this is the environment that I was grew up in, an environment that I was conditioned into a normality. So it took me such a long time to realize and understand that actually you could spend a rainy day in bed with a book or a movie or multiple movies, and you can just spend the whole day in bed, and guess what, the world keeps turning, and everybody uh, goes about their daily lives and nobody really notices as long as like you don't spend the rest of your life in bed. And so when I know like they were the one that he was the one that introduced me into like Sunday afternoons, lazy Sunday afternoons, just spent in bed watching movies. And I remember the first time we did it, and I was like antsy, like lying in bed, like I need to get up, I need to do something. Like I don't know why I'm in bed during the day. I'm not unwell. I don't know why this is happening. And he noticed it and was like, "You're really uncomfortable with this, aren't you?" And I was like, "I've just never done it before. Like this is something new to me." And by the way, I was 40 and I'd never lay in bed all day. And it was like a rainy afternoon and we didn't have anything on, and my little girl's at her dad's, and it's not, we didn't have anywhere to be or anything to do, and it was just like, no, you can just have a day in bed and that's okay, and you can recharge yourself and get up the next day and go on with your life. And I was so uncomfortable with this this concept of number one, rest for a full day, and number two, rest under your duvet. I have the same thing with eating in bed, like just an absolute no-no for me. Like I ended up persevering and was able to have breakfast in bed and stuff like that. But in the beginning, I was just like, this is really challenging for me. And it's just what's a normality in childhood? Like, are you a kid that lay in your bed during the day and your mum and dad were fine with that? Or are you a kid that didn't lie in your bed during the day? Explained this to someone recently. You get bedroom families and living room families. We could say living room in the UK, family room in North America. bedroom families or bedroom kids or living room kids, and it's like, do you all sit together in the living room, or does everybody go to individual bedrooms and hang out by themselves? And my family were very much a living room family. Like we were all in the living room or the kitchen chatting to each other all the time. We were rarely in our bedrooms by ourselves apart from at night. And so going down an absolute tangent, don't know why I'm telling that part. So yeah, so then last year I had this really challenging period where I had one challenge after another over the period of 3 months. And one day I just woke up and I heard the words very, very clearly. And like I said the other day, it's a command within your body. It's when you hear the voice of God, the voice of your intuition, the voice of your highest self, the voice of your soul. It is a command. It's not it's not negotiation. It's not, well, why don't we try this, or maybe we should do that. It's very clear and concise. And I heard the words lie down very clearly. Lie down. I just kept hearing it. And I was like, going about doing things, lie down. It's like this command. I could hear it, and I always think it comes from the back, right? So it's the subconscious, it's the back of your mind. And it was like it was in my ear, lie down, lie down. And of course, I ignored it for the first couple of days. And then one day I woke up and I took my little girl to school, and I'd heard it enough. I'd heard it enough. So I got under the duvet and I was lying there with the duvet pulled up, and it was early June. It was sunny. And I felt somewhat guilty for getting back into bed, and somewhat um, uncomfortable with being in bed while everybody else is going about their days and working and taking their kids to school and stuff, and I'm lying under the duvet on like a random Wednesday morning. And I just knew, because my body told me just to lie still. That was all I had to do, be still. So I lay under the duvet and I lay there until the tears came, basically. And when I really stilled my body, I was able to access the grief that I was still carrying in my body from things that had happened in the springtime, and the loss of my baby, and things that happened subsequently. And I was just able to access this grief that was underneath all the busying that I had been doing to not be able to access it. Like I busied myself in such a way that I wasn't allowing myself to access the full range of emotions that needed to be processed from what had happened. I thought at the time when I had the miscarriage and all the things that happened afterwards, that I had given myself enough space and enough time to grieve until I heard the command of lie down. Recently, like I've been hearing this be still and know that I am God. I've been hearing this verse, uh, like just as I'm going about my day, like doing things, and then I've been meditating on it, and the idea that there's an interpretation that this came from outside of us. Um, this is a God that's outside of us, is saying, be still and know that I am God, and he's over there and he's got you. Where my interpretation of it is, be still and you will actually realize that you are God. So if you're still for long enough, you will realize that you are God. You have an aspect of God within you, and you can access that aspect of God at any time. You can communicate with God at any time by being still and knowing that energy is within you. And I think that there's a lot of disconnect in the world right now, a lot of disconnect, and there's a lot of them in us. And those them in us are showing up in a lot of different ways. And it could show up between you and people in your life in a way of, he thinks this and I think that, or she thinks this and I think that. That's a them and us. And then it shows up in the collective as well, of nations think like this and other nations think like that. That split started off within us. The split that we now see outside of us, which is we're in this camp and you're in that camp, that split started off within us, because everything that is out there is a mirror of what is in here. And that first split came when we were told that God was outside of us, and that God sent the people on earth. Like one of the biggest religions is Christianity, and it's that God sent us a representative of himself in the form of Jesus Christ, who was his son, who came to save us from our sins. And so that is the original them and us, right? So it's him and us. So it's Jesus and us. And we're all these people, and Jesus is someone else, and he is the Son of God, and we are not the children of God. We are something else entirely. And Jesus was like this symbol of something that was off planet, God's off planet, and he sent us his son, and he turned his son into a human being and sent him to us so that we could see that we were safe because there's something off planet that's caring for us and protecting us. That's a created a split in our psyche within us, because now the common misconception amongst a lot of amongst so many humans is that Jesus is something outside of us, and God is something outside of us, and they're just this is just not true. The energy of God is in every single living thing on this planet. Everything with consciousness has God in it, and it's all an aspect of God. Everything, me, you, that plant behind me, there's God in everything, because God is an energy that is poured into every single thing on this planet. And we all have access to it at all times. And the split within us that we believe that God is out there, outside of us, or Jesus Christ was sent outside of us, it's now been shown to us on a mass global scale around the world, where there's a split, there's a them and us in every single aspect of people's lives. Like, just for today, just go about your life and think about them and us. Think about how you view anybody outside of yourself, anybody that you see that is outside of yourself. It might be your parents, might be your husband or wife, might be your kids, might be someone on the street that's rude to you, might be someone on the street that smiles at you. It's anybody. How do I perceive the other? Because the other is only perceived through my perception. So the world is a mirror, but it's also a projection and a perception of what I'm carrying inside. So if you meet someone and you think they're really, really fun and they're really energetic and you love being around them, just know that you also have all that energy within yourself, and they're just actually mirroring back to you something that is within yourself. If you meet someone and they're angry or sad, or they're in fight or flight, and they want to argue with you or something like that, know that you also carry that energy within you, and the codes of those emotions are also within your system, and that you're being shown that for a reason. You're either being shown it because you're supposed to pour love into that person, or you're supposed to pour love into yourself because they're a mirror to you, your internal coding at that moment, or they are showing up in your life to show you that your coding is working at a different vibration, and that your job here is to pour love into them, and give them some of the codes that you're carrying. So every single person that's outside of is a reflection of something that we carry inside. Every single person on this planet. So if we're all essentially the exact same thing, playing out different stories, then we're all God, because so is Jesus Christ. Someone said to me, Jesus Christ was the Son of God. I said, he was no more the Son of God than I am the daughter of God, or you are the daughter of God. Like, we are all the children of this energy that we call God. And the moment that we think that that God is something outside of us, we lose our power. We're giving it to something outside of us, when that power, that spark of God is within you. Be still and know that I am God. You are God. You carry the energy of God within you. And the energy that God gave you is, you're the creator of your own reality. You're so super powerful. You are the creator of every single thing round about you. Now, I know if I say those words and you're looking around the room, the literal room or the figurative room that you're sitting in, and you don't like some of the things that you see, that doesn't feel good. Someone coming along and saying, well, you're the creator of your own reality, so you created this. I understand that that doesn't feel good. And there's been many times in my life where things have been really, really challenging. And if someone had come along and said that to me, then I would have just been like, I'm going to swear on the internet because I'm trying very hard not to do that. But I would just be like, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear that I'm the creator of my own reality, because I'm looking around my reality and I don't like what I see. And I understand that that's jarring and it's triggering to hear. But I also don't want anyone to be sitting in their own shit, right? I don't want anyone to be sitting there in sadness or in fear or in anger and not know that you actually have the power to make changes. Now, I've had these conversations with people before and they're like, well, how can I make a change? I work this amount of hours, I've got this going on, I've got that going on. They could list all the things that's going on that they cannot make any changes. And I had this conversation with my little sister and a few years ago and said to her, well, could you do this, could you do that? And she didn't, she ended up, I think she was like a wee bit annoyed at me because she was like, all right, okay, right, I could do that. And there's little changes that you could make in your reality to make it more beneficial for you, to make it a nicer reality, to make it a lovelier reality, to make your walk through life more joyful. And I'm not ever going to come at this from a place of you create your own reality, so everything that's shit in your life is because of you, because well, that's not helpful, is it? And it's also it's shaming and it's judgmental and it's that's not where we're coming from this from. We're coming this from a place of you are God. You can create your own reality. You might have not known that until today, until you hear this Scottish woman on the internet telling you that you are God and you create your own reality. And up until today, you didn't know you created your own reality. So see when you look around you and you don't like the reality, that's okay. It's okay that you don't like it. It's okay that you didn't know that you were God. I didn't know for most of my life either. The only way that I figured it out was, didn't even figure it out. The only way that I began to understand that I am God is because I had a huge mystical spiritual experience where it was shown to me what is happening on the planet, how all of this is unfolding round about us. It was shown to me time and time again throughout all these mystical experiences, spiritual experiences. I feel unbelievably blessed and unbelievably lucky that these things happened to show me. And it's also important to understand that in the middle of these experiences, I wasn't they were challenging, right? I had these huge spiritual things that were going on in my life, and I was very, very challenged by it. I thought I was losing my mind. There was more than one occasion where I was like, I need to go and speak to a doctor, like I need to go and check myself into a mental institution because there's things happening that are scaring me and they're frightening me because I've never experienced anything like this before. And very, very fortunately, I had some really good people around me that were like, they had experienced similar things. And well, one of them had experienced something very, very similar, and she was able to say to me, "This happened to me. This is what's happening. You're not going mad. You're not losing your mind. Just like ride it out and let go and surrender to what's happening within your body and what's happening within your psyche, and allow it to come up to be seen and to be alchemized into something else." And I I mean, I've spoke about this before, but I think it's probably worth speaking about it again here. And that the very first time it happened, I was on the beach and my consciousness left my body and shot up into the air. And I was what was left on the stones sitting on the beach was basically the empty shell of my physical human body, and my consciousness, my soul had left my body and flown up into the air. And I realized in that moment that this is not who we are. This is where our souls are housed. Our whole souls are housed within our physical bodies, and then our physical bodies are out in the world having experiences every single day that are based on the coding that is carried within our physical bodies. The spark that of energy that is within us all, that we can call our consciousness or our soul, is God, and that energy is permeated throughout the universe in different forms. And some of these forms are human, and some are animals, and some are aliens. And that we are so caught up in this and the physical and the body and the face and the mind and the doing of our days that we don't remember that we have a direct access to the energy that we call God and that is within us. And we are actually God. You are actually God. You have the power within you to create any reality that you want. Now, I'll caveat this with, you know, people have had these conversations with people and they're like, well, you couldn't be a basketball player, Ali. Probably couldn't now. I'm 44. I don't think I'm going to get called up to any professional teams as much as, I go to the gym and I'm trying to get myself fitter. I don't think I'm going to be called up to any professional sporting teams unless you're watching this and you're like, don't know, the captain of the Scotland ladies team and you wanted to call me up, then I do work out 3 times a week. Um, don't play football, but because it's football I was thinking about there. I don't play football, but my big brothers played football and they were really good, so maybe I've got some natural talent. Anyway, just gone down a wee tangent there. Yeah, so someone told me one time, oh my God. Someone told me one time, so, I had this conversation with someone one time. They said, well, you couldn't be a basketball player, right? So you can create whatever reality that you want, but you couldn't be a basketball player because I'm only 5'4". And I was like, well, I've never been called within myself to become a basketball player. Like that was never the calling that was put on my path, the calling that is put on each individual's path that they hear within their soul, within their heart, within their spirituality. Whatever is placed in your heart that you are called to do. And here's how you'll know as well. I describe it to my clients as an impulse. You feel an impulse in your heart, and that you feel energized by it. So you could hear something within your body. Like someone said to me recently, I think I'm supposed to um I think one of the things that I'm supposed to do in life is I'm supposed to have a food delivery service. So it's like I hope I don't get this wrong because she explained it to me, but I might get it wrong. She's a nutritionist, expert nutritionist, and what she wants to do is create meal packages. I believe that it's like delivered, the food would be delivered to the people's houses. You get those diet plans and or like protein, the gym bros and that get them. And I do go to the gym 3 times a week, but I don't sign up to this. And it's like meal plans, and you get it delivered to your house, and it's your meals for the next week. So this amazing nutritionist that I know that wants to have her version of that was placed in her body. That dream was placed in her body because she's got the capacity for it. She is an expert nutritionist, dietitian, so she has the capacity to do that. At no point did her God place in her heart, because she's about the same height as me, to go and become a basketball player. So there's often a little, comeback from you can create your own reality where it's like, okay, well, I said it one time on a group call that I was doing with a lot of women, and one of the women said to me, okay, so I can just go and live in Paris and marry a really rich man. And the woman lived in, when she said it to me, she lived in Australia. And I was like, yes, you could. But first of all, you have to decide that you want to live in Paris, right? And then you would have to change a lot of things in your life, that your job would change because you would no longer be in the city that you're in Australia. You'd now be in Paris. You'd probably have to learn a new language. Like there's things that you would have to do to get the thing that you want, but it's not outside the realms of possibility for that to happen. And if that's genuinely what you want, then the path will open up for you to be able to get that. But if that's just, I've said you can create your reality, and that's just, something that you've just, oh, okay, I've just read a book about a woman that falls in love with a billionaire in Paris, so could that be me? Yes, it could. But changes would have to be made, because the version of you that's now living in whatever city it was, I think it was Sydney or Melbourne, that lives in Melbourne. Well, she doesn't live in Paris, so the version of you that lives there would no longer be. Right? You have to become a different person, a different version of you, not a completely different person, but a different version of you, because you would then be someone that's living in Paris. You would no longer be XYZ that lives in Melbourne. You would be XYZ that lives in Paris. So therefore you would be different. The type of man, if you want to attract a billionaire, if you want to attract a man with lots of money, or works in a certain job, or is a certain height, or does, then yeah, you would have, there's actions that you would have to take for that to materialize. You would have to be actively open to dating this type of man. You'd have to be actively open to moving across the world. Like there's all these things that would have to change for you to manifest the reality that you desire. But first of all, you have to decide what the desire is. And ascertain if that desire is coming from a place of fear or if it's coming from a place of love. Because if it's coming from a place of love and it's connected to your heart, then it's coming from God. If it's coming from a place of fear and it's connected to the lower vibrations in your system, then it's generally coming from your ego, and your ego was created in contrast to God. And we really, really need both, okay? We need the ego and we need God, because the alchemy takes place between the two contrasts, right? So the alchemization of two opposite materials to create something that's completely different, then we need God and we need ego. And a lot of the dreams and the desires that we have are created from our ego. So imagine like God is a spectrum, right? And on this side we've got the ego that we created that we're a lot of people are very attached to, because it's my identity, my character, my personality, the way that I look, it's all these things, my name, my religion. This is all here on this side, and on the other side is God, where everything and everyone is one. And we are going up and down this spectrum, right? And when we're here, we're locked in this reality, the three-dimensional reality, and things can seem more challenging than what they need to be. And then when we're here and we're with God and it's be still and know that I am God. Well, if you're God, you can recreate your own reality. You can create anything you want. From a point of stillness and a point of silence to know the next step. Now, there's some things in your reality that cannot be changed. Of that, there is no doubt. But then what God is asking you to do is be still and accept the things that cannot be changed. So it's still God, you still access that spark within yourself. The ego will fight to change the things that cannot be changed. Well, I don't like my reality being the way it is. And if it's something that cannot be changed, then, like for instance, you're 5'4" and you want to be a basketball player, but you've got to be 6'4", right? I cannot change that reality. So my ego would be over here fighting that reality. God's over here saying, well, accept you're 5'4" and you're never going to be a professional basketball player. By the way, I've never wanted to be a professional basketball player. It's just an analogy or an explanation that I've heard a few times when telling people that they are God and they can create their own reality. So my ego would be over here wanting to fight that extra foot that I need to grow, and God would be over here saying, accept where you are. You can go and play basketball in the local court and get as much joy from it as you want, but I'd probably be really shit at basketball. That's the thing. Um, I'm really good at the lap pull down, which is not at all correlated, but that's what I'm good at. Um, just go and play basketball with your friends in the local basketball court, but you're never going to be a professional basketball player. And what we need you to do is get to an acceptance of that over here. And look at what you've just done. You've now just created a reality where you can play basketball and enjoy it, whilst also knowing that you're never going to play it at a professional level, because we can't fight reality of you're 5'4", not 6'4". I hope that makes sense. Like, it makes complete and utter sense to me, but I hope it makes sense to other people. Um, so that this idea that we create our own reality, and that every individual has a spark of God within them, and God is the creator of every single thing on this planet. So therefore, you carry the energy of the creator of everything, single thing on this planet, and you can create your own reality. If those words make you feel bad, they trigger you, they make you feel angry, like fight or flight would kick in. Flight or fight generally kicks in. And one of the ways that we want to do that is we want to fight the reality of what someone is saying to us. So it's like, well, that doesn't make me feel good, because if I look around my life and I don't like my current reality, then are you saying that I've done this and I'm to blame? And it's absolutely 100% not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we've all forgotten that we are God, and that we create our own reality, and from this moment onwards we can remember. And I've coached hundreds and hundreds of people, and I have never sat down across from someone who there's not something in their life that they could make a small change on that would make their current reality more beneficial to them and more joyful and more enjoying to them, whether that's spending less time scrolling social media, drinking more water. It's these tiny little changes that we can make that makes our current reality more joyful, filled with more enjoyment. And that's still God, that you're still God. It's like if you wake up today and you for some reason see that my video pop up on your YouTube and you hear these words, and I'm telling you that you are God and you create your own reality, and tomorrow or starting today you can create a better reality that you're more in alignment with. And one of the things that if you sit in silence for 5 minutes and sit still for 5 minutes, and the thing that comes up through your consciousness is, I'm going to start drinking more water, right? Maybe that's what it is. I'm going to start drinking more water. Then that's you getting in more alignment with your soul, because your soul just spoke to you and it told you to do something. If it's I'm going to stop going on YouTube and listening to some mad Scottish women rambling about God, then that's also your soul speaking to you and telling you to not be on your phone so much. And the challenge comes when we hear the soul and then we have to actually take the action that the soul tells us to take. So if I tell another bit of a story before I wrap up, it's like last year, and amongst all the challenges, I when I heard lie down, and I did lie down, and I after that I realised what was happening, and I sat still every single day on the beach, and I meditated in silence. And I got messages through my body for me and for a friend of mine, and I did not like the messages that I got, and they came in the form of a flash, like an imprint, like I saw a vision of me sitting somewhere with my friend, and I didn't want to be sitting in that place with my friend for whatever reason at the time. I'm not sure why, but I pushed it away. And then, so I didn't do the thing that I was called to do through my body, and instead I took another path. And then yesterday I was in the supermarket and I was just like wandering about, and I just thought if I had done the thing that my body asked me to do in July or August last year, my friend's life would be completely different right now. It's is completely different to how it was 3 months ago because of other things that have happened, but she would be further down the path of what she's on, the journey of where she's going. She would be further down it because the thing that I heard was not just beneficial to me, it was also beneficial to her. And I spoke to her about it last night, and we were like, well, there are no mistakes. Everything's perfect in every given moment. So we're in this moment because we're supposed to be in this moment. But I do also know that if I had followed the guidance of my uh, soul in July or August, then we would be sitting at a different moment of time in time right now. So the hardest thing is to sit still. First of all, it's to get your body to sit still when you love a to-do list and you love doing and you love busying yourself, because that's what you've been conditioned into doing. And then this woman comes along on the internet and goes, well, why don't you sit still for 5 minutes just to see what comes up? And then you might not like the things that you hear. That's the challenge. It's like, the thing that you hear is to spend less time on the internet or spend more time outdoors, and that seems like a slog to you, that seems like a challenge. You don't want to hear it. You want to just have the comfort of what you're used to. So it's not just staying still and hearing the message, it's also following through with what you hear. That's where the challenges come in. Your body will never ask you to do something that you're not capable of doing. That's why my body doesn't ask me to be a professional basketball player. Uh, God, God will never give you a path that you cannot walk down. Like for every problem, for every challenge that is placed in your path, there is also placed a solution. I promise you that. You have the capacity for the solution. The capacity is within your body. It's not out there. It's not up here. It's in here. It's in your heart. And to access your heart, to access God, to access the highest energy we have on this planet, to access your soul, to access whichever way you want to call that word, that energy that we call God, to access that, the easiest thing to do is to stay still and listen. Be still and know that I am God. That's it. That's all you have to do today. Be still and know that I am God. Be still for 5 minutes. Listen to your body. Hear the message from your body, from the God that you are, that you carry within your soul, and that energy that you carry within your soul, and follow the message. My advice to everybody, I starting in these videos with the same thing. Take a bath. A very luxurious, relaxing, lovely way to be still and know that I am God is to do it in water. Lie in warm water with no phone, no distractions, no nothing, and just lie there and be still and know that you are God. and that you can create your own reality, and you are so powerful and you're so wise and you've got everything within you to create the life of your dreams. I promise you, you do. No matter what you're sitting in right now, there are changes that can be made, and they can be really, really small and incremental, and they can add up to creating the reality that you deserve, because you're God, so you deserve the highest, biggest reality on this planet, and that will be joyful for you, that will enable you to walk through this life, that we're not here for very long, but will enable you to walk through this life and be joyful and be happy and just live your biggest, best life. That's what I want for every single person on this planet. I want you to remember that you're God and that you're wise and powerful and you can create anything, and the changes can start really, really small. And the very first thing that you can make, the very first change that you can make is be still and know that I am God. Be still. Go in the bath. If you don't have a bath, sit on the sofa, sit under the shower with the shower poured over the top of you, and just be still and close your eyes and know that you are God and that you're the creator of your own reality. And from today, you might have not realised that up until now, and that's okay. You're looking about yourself and you don't like your current reality. We all came here with amnesia. We all forgot that we are God. But from today onwards, I want you to hear these words. I want you to feel these words in your system. And I want you to know that you're God, you're powerful, you're wise, you can create your own reality. And you can start by doing that today by just starting by just being still. Being still for 5 minutes. If you can't do 5 minutes, do 3 minutes. If you can't do 3 minutes, do a minute. Just sit still for 1 minute and scan your body and see what comes up. I love you all so much. You're God and I love you, and you're the creator of your own reality. And I'm sorry for going down tangents, and I'll try not to, I'm trying to get better at going down the tangents. And I will see you all soon, and I hope everybody has a really, really good day.